Let's get to the soup of the day. It's wild rice soup. This is rice soup that rides in an open convertible with a babushka on. Tilting its head back and enjoying life.
That does sound wild.
It's brought to you by AMAC. AMAC, I hate wild rice, by the way. So what am I eating all the time? Like last night I had pad thai, chicken satay, that lemongrass soup that's so good with a little coconut in it and chicken. And then I got a little side of, what do I like, tame rice or the white
You're
rice?
You're having the man's rice, the white rice.
The man's rice.
Now you're a man, now you're a man. Man. You are now a man, you're a man. Now you're a man.
Probably should have known right when we heard Matt and Trey writing that final song for
Orgasmo
that they would be great on Broadway. You know what I mean? You can hear it right there, how funny that is, and how hooky it is, and good for them on Book of Mormon. Matt and Trey Parker, arguably, and I guess that means you can still argue it, or is that inarguably means that the voting's closed down?
Yeah, that's inarguably.
Well, I can't quite go there, but very close to being able to pull out inarguably, arguably the greatest humorists of our generation. I mean, really, they boggle the mind. It's brought to you by AMAC. AMAC, the leading conservative alternative to the AARP. They're fighting for traditional American values, fiscal responsibility, restoring common sense to the government. Join the AMAC Army today at americasrising.com. AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens. Better for you, better for America. Here's Hollywood for you. I'm watching the Andromeda Strain last night that I've TiVo'd off of Turner Classic Movies sometime last week. Nice to have Robert Osborne back, by the way. And Michael Crichton's, I believe, his first big novel. Absolutely, it's written, it's unbelievable how smart Michael Crichton was 45 years ago. Even when all the technology and the computers in that looks antiquated, it almost looks like a game of Pong compared to what we have today. The storyline's so tight and terse and believable. And, God, he's missed. But anyway, in the introductory notes, Robert Osborne, who you know I adore, but he's talking about how Robert Wise, the director, who had previously done In the Sci-Fi Mode, Day the Earth Stood Still with Michael Rennie, a nice contribution. Robert Wise refused to hire young Crichton as the screenplay writer. He turned it over to another guy because he thought screenplay authors did not make good screenplay writers because they were too intractable in their creations. He said, for instance, one of the characters was changed from a man to a woman to lend more. The script has like 8 million eddies and flows in it. It is like an English muffin for delicious butter to lay in so many different areas. The least of it. It just reminded me of Hollywood creativity, that you have guys airdropping into something like the Andromeda Strain, which when you read the book, it must have been like, wow, this guy's so far ahead of the game, he'll eventually write Jurassic Park. But they jump in, and the screenplay writer comes in and says, I've taken one of the 4 main characters and made her a woman. Genius!
But the guy they did use wrote the Casablanca TV series, so he must have been good.
Did he really?
Yeah, his name's Nelson Gidding.
Right. Well, I'm getting with delight to find out that he wrote the Casablanca TV series, where he changed Rick to a he/she.
It worked, though. You'd have to admit that it was a good choice.
It's called Lacajo Rick. Peter Lorre would come and he'd say, hide these visa papers in your pants, your skirt. Your pants, your skirt. Your bra, your tux, your bra.
We'll always have Fire Island.
You wore blue, the Nazis wore not much. 866. Oh, the Epstein brothers, by the way. Geniuses. Wrote all the good lines in there. And they are plentiful. All right, what else last night? Who we got coming up? We're going to talk about James Toronto, about life in Canada. And then later in the show, Billy Winnipeg will be here with our weekly curling segment. You're on Canuck Daily.
Curling on the radio is to die for.
Wasn't that the first video ever played on MTV, if I'm not mistaken? Curling on the radio.
That was the Buggles with Curling on the Radio.
Johan van der Sloot does not look good. This whole process has not been good for him.
It looks like it's been hard on him.
He was such a striking boy, and now he looks like he's... God. Is there anything worse than being stuck in the... I don't even know where he's at. The Peruvian appellate system?
Yeah.
The Peruvians weren't this ancient when they were ancient. So that's got to be,
Well, probably the only thing worse is having spent any time in a hotel room with Johan van der Sloot if you're a lady.
Wow.
Just saying.
All of a sudden,
that might have been worse.
Helen Reddy on me.
I am Christian. Hear me roar.
Which reminds me, I'm in a over-the-line tournament in San Diego with the Calpos this weekend, if anybody wants to come down.
I might come down. I love me some Calpo.
That's the only thing I can think of that takes a three-man team. Isn't there some weird hippie game in San Diego called Over the Line?
I think there is.
You can also bring else that has a three-man team?
You could always go into a hacky sack tournament with the Kelpos. That's what they
okay, that would have worked
college.
Better.
Yeah.
All right, that would have worked better. But I didn't have that, and you're a genius. Reading a book called Emperors of Light last night. I finished the Alva Edison thing, which is well-tread ground for me. He's the first part of the book. And then they'll intermingle the three at the end. But the third part, Westinghouse, and the second part, Tesla, who's sort of the European Nikolai Tesla. What an odd bird. First off, he looks like Christian Bale. He's an exact double. And he's so phobic. He's a genius, but he's absolutely phobic. And it's fascinating to watch those two primal forces buttressed up against each other. Genius and complete fear, utter fear, to the point where everything has to be done in threes. He's deathly afraid of peaches. The fuzz just freaks him out. I mean, he can get bedridden off a peach. And by the way, I was in an improv troupe once called Bedridden Off a Peach. And it had to be at the same time as I'm flipping through last night. I see me with a chin and a mullet hosting the 13th annual Young Comedian Show. Did you see it?
I didn't see it. I have seen it before, though. That's the one with Spade and Drake Sather. And
Schneider, Drake Sather, Jan Karam. It was great. I forgot how good she did that night. Freddie Stoller, who goes on to write for Seinfeld. Warren Thomas, God rest him. I don't think he's with us anymore. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought I heard he passed. Drake, I know, has passed. Spade and Schneider. Just these two little... I told them that they should get their friend Charlie Schlatter, who ended up playing the doctor with the clipboard walking next to Dick Van Dyke in that hospital show. He was like 5'2", too. These guys were like in Menage a Trois when they were 20. And, I said, you guys are so funny together. You got to do a show called Tiny Cops, where all the sets are built just a little bigger. Just a tiny bit bigger so you can't quite figure it out. But them pulling up to a crime scene, and just barely being able to see above the steering wheel and jumping out. And the whole show is done just as is, except it's a little off scale. So anyway, I was full of myself, I could see at that time. Kind of tough to watch. But there were a lot of conservative stuff bubbling to the surface. It's funny, I said I don't believe in abortion. It's funny to see people always say, when did you turn? Last week to make it back. Yeah, exactly. But Spade was 10 years old, I swear to God. Schneider was hysterical. And, of course, the world's coolest cutaway, Bowie, in the crowd.
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
Most people getting Joanne Worley cutaways. I had the Thin White Duke in the audience. But if you get a chance, I'm going to be like Paul Newman with Silver Chalice. Don't watch it. Because I'm just trying to be so freaking hip. Somebody must have told me my hair looked like Mel Gibson's hair on the Lethal Weapon poster, and I just thought I was the cat's meow. But I did have a chin. I think that was the last time I had a chin.
Was there one chin or?
I'm sitting here like Burl Ives on the porch. Silver and gold, silver and gold. I actually tell a joke in there about Adam West with a distended belly. And I was laying in bed last night. I could not see the screen over the midsection Annapurna that I have now. Thinking, karma, baby. Big hunk of karma coming back to bite you there.
That man had the last laugh.
Yes, he did. And now I know Adam. God, I hope he didn't see it. I was a smart ass. I was a young smart ass. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back, and we will be joined by Bobby Calgary. He's talking to us about this week's Stampede. And I understand Shania Twain's coming back from, I believe she lives in Peru now, where she serves as jury foreman on this Johan Vandersloot, and she's married to a local guy named Mutt Tiger. Mutt Tiger. And what is that place where you go up and it's in the clouds, Pikachu? Isn't there a place in Peru where you can...
Machu Picchu.
Oh, I like Pikachu. Wouldn't that be a big goof? If somebody built something above the clouds and you hiked all day and you got up there and it was just that guy at a table from a trade show. No, not the actual guy, but just somebody hawking old Pikachu cards. And you'd trek for 6 hours and go, hey, I'm Bobby G. I'm from down in the valley. I get some Pikachu cards here. These are all bits reaching dead ends. I keep looking for one that might have a road out. Not there. Just going to fall on the seppuku. So that was the soup of the day. This is the Dennis Miller Show.